Hello, my name is Glyn Wintle. I'm an Open Rights Group volunteer, and the Open Rights Group are a group of people who help protect people who are programmers and people who use the internet by talking to the press and talking to politicians and trying to make sense of these things and fixing stuff.
So, tell us about the Doctor Who knitting patterns you're involved in.
Doctor Who, this is a strange one. I never really thought I'd be sort of talking about knitting and the Open Rights Group in the same sentence. It appears, I wasn't originally aware of this, but now all too aware of this, that there are a huge number of people who knit and who are Doctor Who fans. And if you're a really good knitter, what you do is you publish to the web knitting patterns so other people can do them. And what happened was this really good knitter published patterns for how to do adiposes and oods and other cool Doctor Who characters, so you could have little dolls that you could cuddle or whatever else you want to do with them. And promptly the BBC sent a takedown letter threatening all sorts of legal nastiness unless these things were immediately removed from the web. So, and I'm just really confused by strange faces being shown to me, but the joy of this kind of filming. And then what happened was she took it down because she didn't want it all to get sued. So she said, "Oh, okay, I'll take it down." And then she wrote the Open Rights Group a little email, a cute little email, saying, "I've taken it down, but I don't really think I should have had to. I wasn't selling it, I wasn't doing anything bad with it." And we had a look at it and then consulted some lawyers and went, "Yeah, you're probably okay with what you were doing." And so then we went to the press and went to the internet. And of course the internet took it immediately and they loved it. It was boined and slashdotted and everywhere else. And then we ran around all the newspapers and every major newspaper took it. And they loved it. It had BBC, it had Doctor Who, it had knitting, it had cute little photos. And, you know, everywhere, including the Sun. And when I say normally that on these techie issues, if you can get the Sun to publish it, you've already won. Because the Sun went with an article that said the title was "Exterminate," and a bit further down they said "Ood stitched up." And then because everyone else was covering it, of course the BBC News guys had to cover it, and they were really quite keen on it. And so the BBC News covered it, and Newsnight covered it. And then there was an entertaining one because Newsnight wanted to pay her for her photos of these dolls, but of course she was going, "No, I can't take any money because that's part of what this is all about." So in the end, some of that money was actually, it was only a small amount of money, was handed over to the Open Rights Group as a convenient solution to that problem. And what eventually happened at the end of all this was that the BBC have now got back in contact with her and said, "You've completely misunderstood what we were saying. When we said we're going to sue you, what we really meant was we want to license all of your content and then start producing knitted dolls of our own." Which is a great solution for her in the end, but there's the more general issue of why did we take it on? Well, we took it on the one side because we don't like frivolous takedown notices, and these are normally done against people who have no incentive to take it to court, so they'll just immediately capitulate. And we didn't like that. But the other real reason for doing it was we've been doing a lot of lobbying on copyright and all the kind of vague things that go under the rather dubious name of intellectual property, trying to get some sanity into these things. Because there are things like, the reason why that whole thing happened is because the BBC has to protect its trademark. If the BBC doesn't protect its trademark, it loses its trademark. So they have to do legal threat. Or if you've got a music CD and you copy it onto an MP3 player, although everybody does that, technically that's against the law. And so we've done some lobbying on this and said, well, can we get this stuff made sensible and fit what everyone thinks it should be? And we've got the government to agree on that, and they're currently instructing the Patent Office to rewrite the laws to do that, but they haven't finished their current report on doing this, and if they haven't enacted this in the next couple of months, we'll have something else to go back to them and go, "See these newspapers? It's affecting people." So that's Doctor Who and knitting and the Open Rights Group all in one.
Fantastic.